Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I've been married to a covert narcissist for almost 20 years. I'm separated from him now, and I use this channel as a way to get information out there about what narcissism really is, what it looks like, what it does to you, and what it does to your children. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about what a covert narcissistic collapse is. Currently, my children and I have a front row seat to my husband's narcissistic collapse. It also could be referred to as a breakdown. I'm calling it a narcissistic collapse because it stems solely from his narcissism. But it's a very upsetting and traumatizing thing to witness a narcissistic collapse. And I feel like I'm in shock. I can't believe it. But I'm going to explain what it looks like. So narcissists are not functional people. They are phony. They are liars. They have secret lives. There's nothing genuine and real to a narcissist. They don't have morals. They don't have any decency inside of them. They're complete frauds. They lie about everything. They have secret lives. And if they are confronted with their secret lives, they have the potential to collapse because they can't handle it. They need constant narcissistic supply. They're like drug addicts. They need supply or they go into withdrawal. Now, with a narcissist, their withdrawal will be a narcissistic collapse. My husband has had an extreme one. So I've been married for 18 years. He has caused me problems throughout our marriage because he would constantly lie, betray me, traumatize me, get into financial trouble. He stole money from my children. He has been an alcoholic behind my back. He's just terrible. As a codependent, I put up with this. I would forgive him. I would give him second, third, fourth, 600th chances. I always did that. And I realize now how ridiculous that is. I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't even know what codependency was until a year ago. I didn't know what narcissism was until a year ago. Since I've discovered that, so much in my life has changed. It's been a terrible year. It's actually been the worst year of my life. But the good thing is that I'm wide awake now, because 5-6 years ago, he would still be living at the house and I would have forgiven him. I don't do that anymore, but that has directly led to his collapse. So if a narcissist cannot get narcissistic supply, they have the potential to have a breakdown. Narcissists need supply, and they can get it from many people. In my husband's case, I am his sole source of narcissistic supply, and now that I don't give it to him, he can't function. And that's not an exaggeration. My husband is a homeless man now. He went from living in a nice house with his wife and children to living in a filthy car, not showering for weeks at a time. I have tried to help my husband. Actually, let me back up first to say that he ended up there because about a year ago, he was in a mental hospital because he caused a big scene and he had a loaded gun. I actually have a video about that. I think it's a crazy narcissistic husband goes to a mental hospital or something like that. But I do have a video about that. He caused so many problems. He was in a mental hospital, and that was also around the same time that I discovered what narcissism is, and I started waking up. So when he got home from the hospital, he made me many promises of things he was going to do. And I expected that he was going to keep these promises. Of course, he did not, but I didn't put up with it the way that I used to. I started telling him, he's got to do these things or he can't be at the house. So he started going where he would leave the house for a couple of days. He would sleep in his car, leave the house for a couple of days, then he would come back and tell me that, he was going to fix everything and he was going to be this great guy. So basically, him fixing things was he needs to get a new job. He needs to stop drinking. He needs to concentrate on being a good father and husband. That's like basically what he needs to do, what I wanted him to do. And he would promise me he was going to do these, and so that would last for about 5 minutes, and then he'd go right back to how he was, give me the silent treatment, yelling at the kids, ignoring all responsibility, and I did not forgive him. I did not, he wanted me to just say, oh, it takes him a little time, poor guy, he's having a rough year. I didn't do that. So he would leave, like I said, he would leave, come back, tell me sorry, leave, come back, tell me sorry. And then it started getting really bad in November. He started scaring my kids and I. He barged into the house. He told me he was going to leave and wouldn't come back for I can't remember how long it was. It was like a day or two. He said he wouldn't come back. He barged into the house and scared us. I had to call the police. And then in December, we had a big problem because he wasn't talking to me, and I told him he had to leave, and he started harming himself. He started banging his head on the wall, screaming that I was hurting him. I had to call 911, and he hasn't been home since. Now, when this first happened, I wanted him to go to therapy. I told him he needed to go to therapy. He had to get his life, on track. He went to therapy with me a couple times, but he quit. He won't go back. So he's not doing the therapy. And he now lives in his car. There's no more of him coming home telling me that he's going to fix everything. He now just wants to come home. He doesn't want to do anything. He just wants to come home. He's not functioning as a person. And this is the narcissistic collapse. He is, for all intents and purposes, a catatonic man sitting in his car. He manages to go to work during the day. I believe it is because he doesn't have to think at work, so he can just go, do his work, and then go back and sit in his car. He's in his car all the time. I saw him last week. He looks disgusting. His car, like if you picture like a homeless person with their like grocery cart full of like junk, that's what he has, except it's his car. He sits in the middle of all this junk. He hasn't showered. He doesn't shower anymore. When I saw him, he said it had been 12 days since he'd showered. He's a mess. He doesn't function at all. He's a dirty, horrible person. And he won't talk. He can talk if we're talking about something that doesn't matter. Talking about something about our dog, something the dog did, or, something minor like that. But he cannot, anything that has to do with real life, like his current situation, his alcoholism, his financial problems, anything that he has to give serious thought to, he can't do it. I don't know if he can't do it or he won't do it, but either way, he's not doing it. He will just look at me blankly, or if I try to talk to him on the phone, he'll just hang up or just be completely silent. There's nothing, he won't handle reality at all. There's no reality. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't ask about the kids. He doesn't try to do anything. I've tried to get him to go to therapy. He won't go. I actually called a psychiatrist because he's so bad. I thought maybe the psychiatrist would have some information for me. The psychiatrist told me that he doesn't have a lot of hope for somebody like that. That if he's not willing to work on it, I need to get a lawyer and a therapist for myself to handle the stress that I've been under. There's no hope for him. Narcissists are severely mentally ill. So this is what a narcissistic collapse looks like. I do think this is an extreme one, but this is factually true. He doesn't function at all. This is a man who went from a nice home with a nice family to living in his car because he has no narcissistic supply. I've taken it away. I won't forgive him. I'm expecting that he needs to pull himself together, and that's not possible for him to do. He won't do it. He can't do it. Either way, and I can't do anything because he's a grown man. I can't make him get help, and I'm not going to have somebody I'm afraid of living with me and my kids. So I don't even know what's going to happen. He's just a lost person. He just sits there in his car, and it's scary. It's disgusting. You know, he is like a fish out of water. You know, he's just flopping around, and he's flopping and flopping, and I don't even know what to do. But that's a narcissistic collapse. That's an extreme case of a narcissistic collapse. He's a man who he doesn't function in society at all. There's nothing to him. So I hope that helps make someone understand what a narcissistic collapse looks like. So in an extreme case, it can make somebody homeless and, for all intents and purposes, catatonic and completely unable to deal with reality. So I hope you like this video. I guess I feel weird saying I hope you like this video, but I hope you learned something from it. I hope that you would consider subscribing to the channel. I am in the middle of this horrible nightmare with my narcissistic husband right now, and I'm trying to make a video 3 days a week. I'm hoping in the near future to have some good positive videos, but what I really want to do is help people to understand what narcissism is, so that they hopefully will not be in the nightmare that I and my children are currently living in. Thank you so much, and I hope everybody has a great day or night or whenever you're listening to this. Thank you again. Bye-bye.